Flooding is starting to become a major concern for Florida's Gulf Coast communities as Hurricane Helene inches closer to the state. This is new video out of Lee County of floodwaters crossing the road, and drivers are still traveling through it. And take a look at this live feed at Tampa Bay's now closed Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Police are stationed at the end of the bridge to stop traffic from crossing over. We've been watching cars get thrashed by the waves from Hurricane Helene. We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you the latest update on a now Category 4 Hurricane Helene. I'm Jack Meyer. The National Weather Service just released its 8 o'clock update on the storm. Let's get right over to UF forecaster Matthew Clark in the weather studio. Matthew, a nighttime landfall of Hurricane Helene is a dangerous scenario for many Florida residents.
Yeah, a daytime scenario is bad as is, so at night it's even worse. As of 6:20 p.m. tonight, it was upgraded to a Category 4 hurricane, reaching winds up to 130 miles per hour. Very strong Category 4 storm, still intensifying as it has yet to even start to make its way towards landfall. It's going to start to see landfall here in the next couple of hours. By Friday morning, it's up in Georgia and moving its way out. Water vapor, super impressive center right now. Strong eye as it's just off the west coast of Florida. Got a lot of dry air behind it, but these rain wraps are just protecting the storm and the core of the eye. That's just keeping it strong and steady. Infrared satellite, also very impressive. Large eye as well, has gone through an eye replacement cycle several times. We have seen that rapid intensification from this storm. It's approximately 80 miles off the west coast of Florida right now, so it's inching its way closer. Large storm, very large storm, 255 miles in diameter. This is just the middle of the storm. That's not even including the outer bands that's reaching off into the East Coast and into the Atlantic Ocean. To put it into perspective, Florida at pretty much its widest point is 137 miles wide. So it's almost double the size of Florida. It's a massive storm. Bringing it a little closer to home on our live radar, just had a few passing showers from the outer bands, and this is where we could get some spin-up tornadoes from this storm. Also have a lot more of these outer bands starting to move their way into our area, and you can start to see that eye getting picked up down off the bottom of your screen, really starting to make its way close to landfall. Futurecast, 8 o'clock tonight is when we're really going to start to get some storms and some pretty strong weather from this thing. Eye is still about 60 miles off the coast right here, starts to make landfall in Dixie or Taylor County, kind of both right there. But Thursday night, we're really close to Iowa. We're about 20 miles to the east of this thing. Still going to be getting a lot of gusty winds, tropical storm force, and possibly even hurricane force winds. As we head into Friday morning, a couple lingering showers and some gusty winds from this thing still. Even though the rain kind of subsides, still going to be getting those tropical storm force gusts until about Friday morning. Wind field as of 8 o'clock, pretty much the entire state is expected to get tropical storm force winds. I've already started to see that on the Sun Coast in Tampa and down in Fort Myers. As this thing makes its way up into the Big Bend, going to start to see those in Georgia and even spanning to North Georgia. Wind gusts, 90 mile per hour wind gust in Cedar Key. It's kind of hard to put into perspective 90 mile per hour winds. That's not even the strongest winds projected. These are kind of low end winds, 77 mile per hour winds in Lake City, 75 in High Springs. These are all hurricane strength wind gusts. It is going to cause a tremendous damage to these communities as it makes landfall. Wind gusts kind of start to settle down on our Friday morning, kind of all clear as we head into our Friday afternoon as well. Now, rainfall totals, these are the last 24 hours. Apalachicola has gotten around 10 inches of rain, but everything to the east has not seen too much rain just because of how quickly the storm is moving, not kicking up too much rain. More of a wind and a storm surge issue. I want to touch on that storm surge right now. 15 to 20 feet likely in the Big Bend, but this spans all the way from Key West all the way up into Apalachicola and up into Destin. The entire Gulf Coast is subjected to this storm surge. Zooming it in a little bit closer to the Big Bend, down here Cedar Key and over by Spring Hill, 10 to 15 feet of storm surge is likely, and 15 plus feet up to 20 feet in the Big Bend area where it's going to make landfall near Perry and into Mayo and Dixie and Taylor County. Cross City could also see some storm surge as well. Unfathomably large storm surge. Just to recap here, everything to the west side of 75 is pretty much under a hurricane warning as this thing inches its way closer. Everything to the east is still under a tropical storm warning. Could still see some gusts of hurricane force winds anywhere in the state. Severe risk as well. As I was saying, these tornadoes can spin up from these outer bands, so we are under a slight risk. Jacksonville under a moderate risk just because it's kind of closer to the coast. Hence, we're under this tornado watch that we are in right now. Pretty much the entire state is in this tornado watch. Going to be keeping an eye on spin-up tornadoes. I want to talk a little bit about rapid intensification from Hurricane Helene. This was this morning. It was a Category 2 at 130 miles per hour. Right now, 130 miles per hour. It's a 30 mile per hour increase in just 8 hours. That is really fast. 35 miles per hour over a 24-hour period is considered rapid intensification. So if there's something above rapid intensification, that's what we're seeing. Warm Gulf waters, low shear. This storm is just feeding into that Gulf, and it's moving fast though. So that's the good news. It could run out of real estate before it strengthens even more. As we head into Thursday night, late Thursday evening, we're going to see that landfall in the Big Bend area and going to be well past our area as we head into this weekend. So just looking over that campus cam, see a Century Tower out there standing tall, 80 degrees right now. Winds, these are consistent winds. These aren't even wind gusts, 23 miles per hour. Haven't seen too much rain. Gusts up to 36 miles per hour down there. See those raindrops on the camera. Pretty dreary. If you're outside, I would recommend getting inside. Not smart to be outside. Hour by hour moving into tonight. Temperature is going to remain pretty constant. It's that rain that's going to be the issue. Spin up tornadoes, gusty winds, really strong hurricane as it makes landfall. Just want to make sure you're staying informed with our Florida Storms app and make sure you're staying tuned, staying safe, and staying protected.
We appreciate the update, Matthew. Now, earlier this evening, Governor Ron DeSantis updated Floridians on the latest details about Helene. He emphasized the dangerous conditions throughout the state, even happening outside the forecast cone. The governor says just because the storm has passed, it still is not a good idea to begin recovery efforts.
The storm is going to hit Florida's Big Bend region sometime this evening, likely around 11 o'clock. It's going to be dark. Don't go out as soon as that storm passes if it's still dark and try to do work around your house or worry about things. Let it get light. There's going to be hazards there. It's just not something you want to be navigating in the dark.
The UF weather team says conditions are expected to become safer tomorrow morning, but there is still a chance of wind gusts being at 39 miles per hour, so be cautious and check before you leave your sheltered area. President Joe Biden has spoken out about the urgency of Hurricane Helene as well.
Everyone needs to take it seriously, extremely seriously. The potential storm surge is well beyond the immediate path of the hurricane. Could be significant and deadly. You know, for you and your family's sake, I urge everyone in and near the path of the hurricane to listen to local officials and follow evacuation orders.
These adverse weather conditions are being felt across the state. WUFT sports reporter Jesse Simmons captured footage of Helene's impact on the Tampa coast. As you can see, the strong wind is making waves crash onto the road and flooding the area as a result. Taylor County officials are asking evacuees to refrain from returning to the area. The Emergency Operations Center will be communicating through social media, alert system, news outlets, and radio. Returning early can pose risks due to expected heavy flooding and roads with downed power lines or fallen trees. It may be tough to hear, but county officials say due to the unsurvivable storm surges that are expected, to leave your name and information where they can easily find it. The dangers from the storms don't end with the wind and rain. Scammers are running rampant down the Gulf Coast, tricking Florida residents into handing over cash or property. City leaders are sending out scam alerts, letting Floridians know how to keep their money safe. Citrus County law enforcement says that fake calls from scammers impersonating the sheriff's office are being made to locals, saying that there is a warrant out for their arrest. These scammers then ask for gift cards and direct money transfers to pay off this fake warrant. Officials say that they will never ask for money over the phone or call to tell residents they have a warrant. If you receive a call like this, ask for the deputy's name, say you'll call them back, and call the agency's main line to verify. Another popular Hurricane Helene scam that will pop up comes from people who claim they can help you after the storm. Scammers are reaching out to Florida homeowners who sustained damage from the storm to convince them to sign over their rights to rebuild. WUFT spoke to State Fire Marshal Jimmy Petronis to learn more on how this hoax works.
They will want you to sign over the rights to your insurance claim or make them the beneficiary of whatever dollars you might get from your insurance carrier. So we just have been stressing over and over, do not sign anything.
State officials are reminding residents to not give out any form of personal information to anyone who comes to your door offering to help with home damage. Marion County representatives are giving residents dealing with property damage from the storm steps to submit official damage reports. Take photos of any damages as soon as it is safe. Navigate to the Marion County Property Appraiser Damage Report website page where you can document these damages and upload the photos. Alternatively, call or email the office with your report or make your report on the Marion County PA smartphone app. We're here to keep you updated, including our Spanish viewers. We now go to Schnabel with your top headlines in Spanish.
Desde nuestra última actualización, Helene se ha fortalecido a un huracán de categoría 4 con vientos sostenidos de 130 millas por hora. Según el Centro Nacional de Huracanes, el sistema ahora está a unas 145 millas al sur de Tallahassee. Vemos aquí los efectos de Helene en la ciudad de Apalachicola. Las calles están inundadas, dificultando el paso de los vehículos de emergencia. A nivel de estado, más de 300,000 personas están sin luz, en preparación para un corte de energía, apague y desconecte equipos eléctricos innecesarios. En vivo en el estudio, Schnabel, WUFT News.
The Marion County Division of Emergency Management's Citizen Information Line is ready to receive calls. If you have questions, call the line to stay informed. You can also sign up for Alert Marion today to get real-time updates. With Hurricane Helene bearing down on the Florida coast, many people are heeding the warnings to evacuate and staying put in temporary shelters as they hope to ride out the storm.
You know what? I've never been in a storm as a category 3 or 4. And what I'm doing right now is using wisdom. Wisdom tells me to get out of the home. I live in a great home, but the home may not be enough to forego and to take on this storm.
Tallahassee residents will soon feel the harsher impact of Hurricane Helene as landfall is approaching. We'll be back here at 10 tracking the latest on Hurricane Helene. We now return to your regularly scheduled programming.